Today we are talking about how to build food storage. If you're anything like me and your YouTube suggested feed or your browse features are just filled with videos that look something like this, and they're like feeding my family for $300 a month or feeding my family for $20 a week, and then they often will bring you over to a pantry that looks something like this, that is completely fully stocked, or they bring you down to a freezer that looks something like this, completely stocked. And they're shopping mostly from what they have, which is pretty much just shelf cooking, or they're just eating off of any food storage that they have, whether that be long-term or they did a really big grocery shop, and then they're gonna bring you guys along for the $20 that they spend a week, when really they're pulling everything they have from their food storage. So today we're gonna be talking about how to actually build a food storage, how to get a stocked pantry so that you can actually cook like the people on YouTube. If you're new around here, this is what I refer to as my working pantry. This is what we eat out of. Every single month, I grocery shop once a month. When I do my groceries, this is the pantry that the groceries go in, that we're going to be eating off of for the month. All my long-term storage is downstairs in the basement. I like to keep those things separate. Here's my first tip: keeping your bulk storage completely separate from things that you are going to be working through. I do this for a couple reasons. One, my long-term storage actually stays long-term, especially when I buy things that are a little bit more fun. Maybe I find things on sale, which is the first thing we're gonna be talking about. The first way to build a storage is to stock up slowly when things are on sale. So say I buy 2 things of honey roasted peanuts. If I put 2 things of honey roasted peanuts right in here in this pantry, they're gonna be gone. It's not gonna be long-term. That way I put one of these in my working pantry, one of these downstairs on the long-term storage shelf, so that it can actually hold the potential of being long-term storage, because my family doesn't see it every day, my kids don't see it every day, and it can kind of be hidden almost. So that's the first thing we're gonna be talking about, is to buy when things are on sale, the whole one for now, one for later method. This is probably going to be one of the easier and more cheap ways to build a storage. This also is something that takes over time. It's long term. You're obviously not going to have a full freezer in 1 week or 1 month by just shopping sales, but you can slowly put things in the freezer that are a good price at the time, and then you'll have them later on when maybe prices aren't so great. The very next thing I want to talk about is buying in bulk. We buy our meat in bulk. This is our huge 6 cubic foot chest freezer. One of our freezers just took a kaput. So if you know, we have 3 chest freezers. Our medium-sized one took a poop like literally last night, so I had to pull everything out of it and put it in here. But usually this is full of nothing but large sums of meat. I have some chicken thighs in here, but what's mostly in here is these 2-pound packages of ground beef. We bought 350 pounds of ground beef. Buying meat in bulk is honestly the best way to do it. Make a relationship with a farmer. We only buy ground beef. It's much cheaper that way to only buy the ground beef, at least where we are, versus buying like half a cow or a whole cow. I'm gonna have to ask my husband how much we ended up paying for this ground beef, because he's the one that takes care of our bulk meat orders, and I'll put it up here on the screen, versus if we were to buy half of a cow, where you get different cuts and steaks and roasts and all those different things, would be thousands. So we stick just to beef. And I'm gonna show you guys why in a second. This is the #1 thing that I think makes a difference in grocery hauls in general, is if you have the meat. Meat is probably the most expensive thing in the store right now. Prices are really crazy, and I would not be able to stick to my $500 a month budget for my family of 5, soon to be 6, if I did not have all this meat in my freezer. This is our smallest freezer. I'm pretty sure this is like a 3 cubic foot freezer. This is typically where we hold all of our game, but like I said, our freezer took a poop, so we have some other things on top of here. But what mostly is in here, we have whatever we have left from our bulk pig that we bought. We buy a pig every year as well. We actually buy them from our neighbors right down the road. It's a great price. You can either buy half a pig or a whole pig. We opted to buy a whole pig, and then we split the pig down the middle with my father-in-law. So he took half, we took half, and we had it processed in any way that you want. So when you order a whole pig, you tell the butcher how you want it processed. That way you're getting exactly what you want. You know what your family eats. If you want more pork chops, you can get more pork chops. If you want 2 whole big roasting hams, you can get 2 big roasting hams. You want your ham sliced and you want some ham slices instead, which is what I think we're gonna do next year. You can do that. There are so many options. You get great cuts of meat in all the forms. So every year we will buy a huge bulk of beef, ground beef, and then we'll buy half of a pig. And then we're set for meat for the rest of the year. We don't even have to think about it. And that helps us stay in our grocery budget every single month. We also will only buy our ground beef because all of our roasts, all of our tenderloins, all of things like that, we get from game animals that my husband and our kids hunt for us. We get all that from venison. So if we ever want to roast, if we ever want tips, if we ever want something like that, we come down here into the freezer and we'll get that from the venison and things like that. My husband also started fishing this year for the first time, so he's been getting most of our fish. He caught some salmon this year. He also caught some trout this year, so we have smoked trout, we have like regular filleted trout, and some fillets of salmon that he caught this year. All of those are in the freezer. All of that's going to save us huge meat wise this year. I understand that game meat and hunting and fishing isn't for everybody, but that's what we do to help save money, so I have to mention. Another thing we do to save us huge is we garden and preserve a lot of our own vegetables and things for the year. So we have gallons and gallons and gallons of bell peppers that came out of the garden that all I did was wash and slice and bag up in freezer bags. We've got gallons of those. We've got gallons and gallons of green beans. Then all I have to do are buy the store-bought things that I don't grow or I didn't source locally. I do have corn cobs in here that I sourced locally this year that I blanched and froze. Got those in here, but if we ever want just corn kernels, I've got those too. But that saves me a lot of money from the grocery store, is just preserving and growing some of our own stuff through the summer and through the fall. Now you're getting a peek at my real long-term food storage. It's down in my basement so my kids don't see it. Obviously you're seeing a lot of canned goods here. I do a lot of canning. It's something that I enjoy. Once again, I realize that that's not an option for everybody, but everything you're seeing here, this is all spaghetti sauce and pizza sauce that we did this year. We have some applesauce here, relish, tons of pickles. We've got chili seasonings. We have salsas that we did. These are hot sauces, which was something new for me, but we did hot sauces this year. We did dandelion jam, which tastes just like honey. It's delicious. This is chili base that we did. We've got more pickles here. Obviously some store-bought bread. I have to store that down here because it's cool and it lasts forever. But we've got tons of pickles back there in all the forms, slices and spears. We've got green beans here that we did. We've got dilly beans, which are just pickled green beans. Lots and lots and lots of things. So of course, this is also how I save myself money. I'm not gonna have to buy any pickles this year. I made a year's worth of pickles. I don't think I'm gonna have to buy any spaghetti sauce this year. I'm pretty sure I made a year's worth. Same with my pizza sauce. I'm pretty sure I made a year's worth of pizza sauce. I'm not gonna have to buy that. And when you calculate that a jar of pizza sauce is probably $2 or $3 in the store, do that times however many jars I have here, and that's how much money I have sitting in jars that I was able to do myself. So that is a huge way I save money. Once again, I totally understand if it's not for you, but I have to mention it because obviously it's a huge way that we save for our family. The very next thing I would say is maybe focus on one section at a time. When I first started making my food storage, I made a huge list of everything that I thought my family would need, want, like, and desire to have on a shelf for when we needed it or when we wanted it. These came down to practical items like spaghetti sauce and noodles and rice and different things like that, and all the way down to just fun things, snacks like pudding mixes and chocolate chips and different baking items so that we could make whatever we wanted as long as we had what we needed to make it on a shelf down here. I broke those down into categories like freezer, pantry, canned goods, noodles, and then every time I went to the grocery store, I just picked one or two things off of the list. I said, you know what, today I'm gonna get noodles for the storage shelf. I'm gonna get an extra 2 boxes of noodles for the storage shelf. I'm gonna get an extra 2 bags of chocolate chips for the storage shelf. And slowly but surely, I was able to add things to the shelf, and now it looks like this. I think most things on this shelf are home preserved. We have more things kind of upstairs in the working pantry, but we also have things all the way down at the bottom here, like sugars and flours. I like to keep those stocked. So I like to have 30 pounds of each down here at all time because we make a lot of our stuff from scratch. You're not gonna see any pasta in my storage shelf down here because I've switched to making all of my own pasta. So I have to make sure that I have all-purpose flour at all times. I always have eggs because we have laying hens. That's another way that we save money, is through our laying hens. We sell our eggs, we donate our eggs, and we always have eggs. We're always using those, and just sticking to really staple basic ingredients is what saves us money. That doesn't mean that I don't buy store-bought goods though. I will pick up things when I see them on clearance, like this jambalaya rice mix, something really easy, because sometimes you just want something quick and easy, and I keep all that stuff down here on the shelf, so when I want it, I got it. Wild blueberry mix, I bought some of these when they were on sale and stocked up. We have one left. So just like that, I'm showing you guys really just realistically and very honestly how I built my storage shelf. I understand that not all of these are gonna be for everybody. Making sure that you're buying on sale, bulking up when you can, where you can, a little at a time, because this did not happen at once. This is since 2020, which is when I think most people started thinking about long-term storage. So this is almost 3 years of storing on here, and it looks very full because we just got out of the preserving season. So in a couple months, a lot of these jars are gonna be gone. But those are all of my easy, quick tips that I would say that you should follow to make sure that you're building a food storage just a little at a time, being patient with yourself, and knowing that eventually you will get there. It's just gonna take some time. Thank you guys so much for watching, hanging out with me. I hope that these tips helped you and that you can build your food storage on a budget for your family, so that you can start shopping like all the people you watch on YouTube. And I will catch you guys in another video.
A lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.